The year was 1957. Joe Walker, a young accountant from Cleveland, had just bought his dream car, a shiny, chrome-laden 1957 Edsel Pacer. On the first drive, neighbors peeked out from their windows, marveling, or was it laughing, at the car's horse-collar grille and over-the-top design. A few months later, Joe found himself stranded on the side of the road, the victim of one of Edsel's infamous mechanical failures. By 1960, Joe had traded it in for a used Ford, leaving the Edsel and its reputation behind. Joe's story isn't unique. It reflects an era of audacious design, ambitious innovation, and, at times, poor execution. Today, we'll take a deep dive into 37 of the worst American cars from the 1950s, vehicles that, for various reasons, have become infamous relics of automotive history. Let's jump right in. 37. 1950 DeSoto Fire Dome. The DeSoto Fire Dome had a good engine, a V8 no less, but it was overshadowed by its awkward styling and overabundance of chrome. Despite the firepower under the hood, the Fire Dome's cumbersome design and reliability issues made it unpopular and unmemorable. 36. 1950 Ford Deluxe. The Ford Deluxe was supposed to be a step up from the base model, but it often felt like a step backward. Its plain, utilitarian design, coupled with mediocre performance, made it forgettable in an era of flashier and more exciting cars. Many found it uninspiring compared to other post-war offerings. 35th. 1957 Lincoln Premier. The 1957 Lincoln Premier had a bold attempt at luxury, but its massive size and garish, excessive chrome were often considered overkill. The car's extravagant styling, combined with some mechanical problems, made it more of a status symbol than a true luxury vehicle. Many felt it was just too much of a good thing, making it unappealing in the long run. 34. 1957 Mercury Montclair. The Mercury Montclair of 1957 was an ambitious model, but its bloated dimensions and fin-heavy styling were off-putting to many buyers. It was designed to compete with the higher-end Cadillac, but with inferior materials and build quality, it never gained the appeal of its competitors. The overly flashy look combined with mechanical shortcomings meant it didn't age well. 33rd. 1956 Chrysler Imperial. Chrysler's Imperial was supposed to be a high-end luxury car, but it often came off as more ostentatious than elegant. The overly large tail fins, awkward rear quarter panel design, and complex mechanical issues caused many buyers to steer clear. Despite its intended premium status, the car was more of a styling misfire than a true symbol of luxury. 32. The Nash Rambler. The Nash Rambler was a pioneer as America's first modern compact car, but it wasn't winning beauty contests. Designed with refrigerator influences from Nash's merger with Kelvinator, its rounded, skirted body gave it a toy-like appearance. Despite its practicality and reliable engineering, the Rambler's unconventional looks alienated buyers accustomed to large, status symbol vehicles. 31st. 1950 Studebaker Starlight Coupe. The Starlight Coupe was memorable for its bizarre wraparound rear window. Critics joked it looked like two cars welded together, facing opposite directions. Despite innovative features like four-wheel hydraulic brakes, the polarizing design couldn't win over everyone. 30. 1952 Nash Healey. Born from a collaboration between Nash Kelvinator and Britain's Healey, the Nash Healey aimed for a luxury sports car hybrid. However, its quirky front grille and headlights, which some likened to a car swallowing another vehicle, made it divisive. While it performed admirably on the racetrack, the car's aesthetics left potential buyers cold. 29th. 1959 Ford Anglia. With its slanted rear window, short trunk, and sagging roofline, the Ford Anglia was a stylistic oddity. While it was affordable and practical, its bizarre proportions turned heads for the wrong reasons. 28. 1959 Studebaker Lark. Designed to be economical, the Lark utilized older Studebaker body shells to cut costs. While functional, its uninspired design and handling issues, especially with the V8, left much to be desired. 27. 1953 Kaiser Dragon. The Kaiser Dragon's dragon skin vinyl roof and gold trim screamed luxury, but to many it was just tacky. High pricing and a divided public response meant it struggled to find buyers. 26. 1953 Hudson Jet. Attempting to rival the Nash Rambler, the Hudson Jet featured outdated styling and was a poor follow-up to Hudson's innovative step-down design. Despite decent engineering, it failed to capture market share. 25. 1954 Kaiser Darren. The Darren was a fiberglass sports car with sliding doors that retracted into the fenders. While groundbreaking in design, its 90 horsepower engine and high price tag rendered it impractical compared to competitors. 24. 1958 Packard sedan. By the late 50s, Packard's designs were on life support, and the 1958 sedan exemplified the decline. With a cobbled-together body featuring gaudy chrome and ungainly fins, it was a Frankenstein of outdated styling cues. 23rd. 1959 Chevrolet El Morocco. Marketed as a cheaper Cadillac, the El Morocco attempted to emulate luxury by slapping Cadillac-esque fins onto a Chevrolet body. It ended up looking like a parody, offering none of the prestige buyers sought. Joe Walker wasn't alone in his disillusionment. Throughout the 1950s, countless car buyers faced the same bitter realization. What looked bold and futuristic on the dealership floor sometimes turned out to be unreliable, impractical, or downright embarrassing on the road. For every classic 57 Chevy or Thunderbird that's cherished today, there's a forgotten counterpart that left drivers wishing they could hit undo. Let's continue our dive into 22 more American cars from the 1950s that nobody wants back. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. 22nd. 1950 Crossley Hotshot. The Crossley Hotshot was America's first post-war sports car, but sports is a stretch. Powered by a 26-horsepower engine, it could barely keep up with traffic. Its stripped-down design lacked doors, windows, and creature comforts, leaving owners exposed to the elements and ridicule alike. 21st, 1951, Henry J. Standard. The Henry J aimed to be a no-frills economy car, but its lack of features was a step too far. It came without a trunk lid, forcing owners to load cargo through the rear seats, and the cost-cutting design felt cheap, even for budget-conscious buyers. 1953 Chevrolet Corvette. Today's Corvettes are icons, but the first year's model was a rough start. Underpowered with a 150-horsepower inline-six engine and a 2-speed Powerglide automatic transmission, it was more show than go. Early production issues meant only 300 were sold and many were dissatisfied. Number 19. 1954 Hudson Italia. The Hudson Italia was a limited production halo car meant to boost Hudson's image, but it was too weird for most buyers. Its bubble-like roofline and exaggerated fins felt more spaceship than car, and its $4,800 price tag, fortune at the time, made it unattainable. 18. 1954 Dodge Royal. The Dodge Royal tried to keep up with the growing trend for V8 engines, but its red Ram Hemi came with poor reliability. Coupled with uninspiring styling and awkward proportions, it failed to generate excitement in the market. 17. 1955 Packard Clipper. Packard's reputation for luxury was tarnished by the Clipper's uninspired styling and dwindling build quality. Once a rival to Cadillac, Packard's cost-cutting measures resulted in an awkward, lackluster design that failed to revive the brand. 16. 1956 Continental Mark II. Though it aspired to be a luxury masterpiece, the Continental Mark II's astronomical $10,000 price tag, double that of a Cadillac, alienated buyers. The understated styling lacked the flash buyers expected for the cost, leading to disappointing sales. 15. 1956 Plymouth Savoy. The Savoy was an early example of Plymouth's mid-tier models, but it lacked personality. Its bulky, unbalanced body and underwhelming engines made it forgettable in an era dominated by flashier, more powerful cars. 14. 1957 Studebaker Scotsman. Marketed as a bargain basement car, the Scotsman stripped out almost all features, including chrome trim, a radio, and even a glove box door. While economical, its stark utilitarian look and feel made it the butt of jokes. 13. 1957 Dodge Custom Royal Lancer. The Royal Lancer pushed fins and chrome to the extreme, resulting in a bloated, gaudy design. Despite a powerful engine lineup, its over-the-top styling and quality control issues drove buyers away. 12th. 1958 Ford Thunderbird. The first 4-seat Thunderbird was a departure from the sporty 2-seater, but it left enthusiasts scratching their heads. Its bulkier proportions and awkward lines alienated fans of the original, even if it sold well to a new audience. 11. 1958 Rambler American. The Rambler American recycled Nash's old body designs from the early 1950s, giving it a dated look in a rapidly modernizing market. Its bland styling and bare-bones features failed to excite buyers. 10. 1958 Plymouth Fury. While the Fury became a pop culture icon thanks to Stephen King's Christine, the real car had issues. Early models suffered from rust problems and reliability issues, making ownership less thrilling than its fictional counterpart's murderous streak. 9. 1959 Mercury Turnpike Cruiser. With its unique breezeway rear window and spaceship-inspired design, the Turnpike Cruiser was ambitious but strange. The heavy chrome and awkward proportions made it polarizing, and it was quickly dropped from Mercury's lineup. 8. 1959 Cadillac Series 62. The 1959 Cadillac may be remembered for its iconic fins, but they're also divisive. Some see them as the pinnacle of 50s design excess, while others view them as gaudy and impractical. Either way, not everyone wants this rolling Art Deco sculpture back on the road. 7. 1955 Dodge La Femme. The 1955 Dodge La Femme was marketed as a car designed specifically for women, complete with a matching handbag and umbrella. While that might have seemed like a thoughtful touch, it was also an incredibly outdated and sexist idea that didn't resonate with buyers. Its odd pastel color scheme, coupled with mediocre performance, made it a vehicle few would want to revisit. 6. 1959 Buick Invicta. The 1959 Buick Invicta was a bulky, awkwardly proportioned car, overshadowed by its giant tail fins and an overly aggressive design. While its size was meant to be a sign of luxury, it instead made the car look oversized and cumbersome. With performance that didn't match its appearance, it was considered an overblown attempt at luxury that left most buyers unimpressed. 5. 1954 Buick Special. Buick's 1954 Special had a melancholy face, with drooping headlights and a grimacing grille. Though its Fireball V8 engine was a highlight, the design was quickly updated by 1955 after lackluster reception. Number 4. 1955 BMW Isetta. Nicknamed the Bubble Car, the Isetta was an oddball microcar measuring just 2.29 meters long. Its single front door, which swung open with the steering column, was innovative but added to its bug-like aesthetic. Practical? Yes. Desirable? Not so much. 3. 1958 Edsel. Perhaps the most infamous flop of the decade, the Edsel's horse-collar grille and overuse of chrome were widely mocked. Despite Ford's lofty aspirations, the Edsel quickly became synonymous with failure, lasting only 3 years. 2. 1956 Studebaker Hawk. The 1956 Hawk traded its predecessor's sleek designs for a controversial tombstone grille and excessive chrome. The cluttered look alienated buyers, overshadowing its powerful V8 engine. 1. 1958 Oldsmobile 98. This model went overboard with chrome, with trim resembling train tracks along the quarter panels and an uncoordinated trunk design. Its Speed Streak mascara headlights didn't help either, making it a visual overload. The 1950s were a time of fearless experimentation, but not all risks paid off. These cars are reminders that innovation can sometimes go too far or not far enough. While some of these vehicles have nostalgic charm, most are better left in the history books. What do you think? Did we miss any forgotten flops of the 50s? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more automotive deep dives.